Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the 80-60 rule. My name is Mark. I'm 60.
And my name is Greg. I'm 80.
And Greg, happy early 4th of July to you.
Likewise, Mark.
4th of July weekend. You know what? Why don't we start off? Do that thing you do every 4th of July weekend. You do that great rendition of Yankee Doodle Dandy. Do you mind doing it? Are you shy, or do you want to or no?
No.
Oh, you're going to skip it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, every other year, then you'll do Yankee Doodle Dandy, right?
Starting in 2030.
What? Okay, we'll start in 2030.
Okay.
All right. That'll be the wait a second. That's the 87. No, 80. I can't do math. 87. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Anyway, tell us what's on your mind as we get into this
Yes.
busy.
First of all, I forgot. Let me just say this. Congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, it was a pretty good series. I liked the way the Tampa Bay battled back a little bit there.
Yeah.
Colorado was by far the better team, or not, I shouldn't say by far. They were the better team, but it was nice to see Tampa Bay kind of hang in there for a few games. It was pretty exciting stuff.
I enjoy the handshaking and all that.
Yeah, that's always a cool ritual. Yeah.
I questioned years ago. I don't know if I could handle that if I lost.
You wouldn't be. You'd probably be at the end. You'd do it, but you'd be at the end of the line with your like, okay, I guess I got to do this.
Yeah.
They should try that. They should try that in the Senate, right? In the Senate, they should, after each session, they should pass and walk and congratulate and
yeah.
And then
it's interesting. One of my best friends back home, one of my best friends. He's upset. He's always been upset with Tom Brady because when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, Tom Brady did not stay on the field and congratulate Nick Foles.
Yeah.
To me, I say I understand that because he was so upset. He fumbled. They lost. You expect him to say, good game? I would go in the locker room and take a breath. Okay, let me go out. Let me go to the locker room and say, congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah, the emotion thing is always a big deal, but sometimes the fans get more emotional than the players do. We're tied into it a little bit more than them. So I mean, you can say the heat of the moment, but it doesn't take a lot just to give a thumbs up or something. So
you know what I'd like to discuss, Mark? I like to discuss something with the Chicago Cubs.
Oh.
I like the Cubs. I enjoy going there but I am so surprised, and I like it. I respect the Chicago fans, how much they like their Cubbies and how much, I mean, to me, if they did what they're doing in Philadelphia, they would be hung.
Yeah, right.
We would have planes outside. Ross must go.
Right.
Ross is not the boss.
Well, I mean, this year's a perfect example. Girardi was gone. They didn't hang around.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And it gets me. There was an article in the Tribune, Chicago Tribune, and it says, "I'm bringing Cubs fans have no one to blame but themselves for this mess." The Cubs were 7th in average attendance Saturday, despite having the 5th worst record in baseball and the 2nd highest fast con index, $364 for a family of 4.
Wait, 2nd highest what index? Like, meaning it's the 2nd highest, like a family of 4 going to the game?
Yeah.
Who's number one?
$364 an agent. Well, I mean,
Dodgers or Yankees are number 1? Who?
I don't know. I don't know.
Probably Yankees. Might be Dodgers though out there in California. But yeah, so really it costs the 2nd most to take a family of 4 to Wrigley Field than in the whole league. Right. Yeah, and that's always been like, if we look at like the city of Chicago with the competing Cubs and White Sox for attendance, because I think the White Sox on that list you read were way down at 17, and the White Sox always kind of promote the bargain it is. They'll do these deals with like beer and hot dogs, and if you get like family packs or whatever, and they try their best to get up there in terms of attendance. The Cubs don't need to do that because people are going to show up anyway.
But it's interesting you say that, but every time I see trying to build the Sox, I feel to me like, what are they, desperate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're not alone. I watch a lot of MLB, the package where
yeah,
you can
yeah,
get every
yeah.
game.
It's
So
it's,
every team does that
it's
where
always in back of you, the MLB package.
it's always in back of me. I always got
Okay.
it back here. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then, but anyway, all those. So you see the local promotions for their team.
Yeah,
Every
yeah,
team does that. Every team says, "Oh, don't forget, Friday night half price night or whatever." Or maybe not Friday night, but so every team does that. It's just we don't see the Cubs doing that, or like the Yankees probably don't do that, or the Dodgers, because of the attendance is always going to be there. But every team. So I know you say, like the White Sox seems like they're kind of like begging people to come. Every team's doing that.
yeah.
Meaning every
Did they
team.
do it? Mark, did they do it 10 years ago? Teams?
Yeah. White Sox have done it for a long time. I can remember, do you remember, because I grew up around here, Bill Veck, oh my God, did they have crazy promotions just to get
Yeah.
people in the
Who
park?
was a midget? The midget?
Yeah,
The midget?
yeah, I don't know if that's a politically correct word
Okay, okay. Censor
any,
me.
anymore, but that's anyway. Yeah, but that was Eddie Goodell way back in the 40s.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm talking about in the 70s. They're the ones with the disco demolition thing, the White Sox.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And that was 40 years ago or more than that.
Yeah.
I think it was 79 was that. So meaning they've always that side of Chicago was always tried little things just to keep getting people in the park. It's a shame that it's not the brand of baseball that's getting him in there. I had the Cub game on today, and it didn't seem like a great crowd. And the Red Sox are in town. It did not seem like a full house. So maybe the tide turns when when people start doing the math with gas and all that stuff.
Parking,
Yeah, parking. Yeah, that's a huge thing. I've got I've got a little issue with Ricketts just because the ownerships. It's like on the one hand, lifelong Cub fan, suffered all those years, and then they won in 16. So it's like great, but you've used up your goodwill on that now. All right, you got us a champion, great. However, and the atmosphere around the park is fantastic. That thing they got Gallagher Way with the screen out there, and then if you've never been from out of town, just the atmosphere, the bars, the restaurants, the whole deal is really fun. However, now like Ricketts built a hotel right across the street. However, now I'd like to see that money being put into the team because I don't think they're doing it. I think they're counting all their money and sticking it in their mattress because how hard is it? You've always talked about player development, right?
right.
How hard is it to scout some arms and sign them to contracts when they're 18, 19 years old or 16, 17 years old? And it's not that hard to do that with a left fielder or a shortstop. Those guys are a dime a dozen. But if you're going to build your team, you got to have some young arms. And then if you look around, and I know we're talking like, heavy duty baseball here, but if you look around the league, Yankees always come up with the young arms. Dodgers always come up with the young arms. Cardinals. Oh my God, the Cardinals,
Yeah.
Again, they're up there in attendance too. The Cardinals.
Right.
And also back to the atmosphere around the park, the Cardinals have done a good job with that. The Padres. Have you ever seen any outside shots of the stadium in San Diego? I can't remember the name of it, but for the Padres.
No, I can't. I can't remember the Petco
beautiful.
Park. Is it Petco Park?
Petco Park, right. Beautiful.
Oh boy. Where did I get that? Whoa.
That was nice, man. That was nice. That's every once in a while. I mean, you may throw the term around midgets around, but Petco Park. That's good.
I know Petco Park.
Yeah. But anyway, that atmosphere is really fantastic out there. So back to Ricketts, it seems like they're getting a ton of money in. It wouldn't surprise me if at Clark and Addison one day in the next couple of years, there's going to be a toll booth right there, just like you see on the toll road, where anytime you pass Wrigley, you got to pay just for the opportunity to glance at the marquee there. I'd like to know why money isn't being invested into scouting where they could sign some young arms and keep them in contention. All right. Counterpoint. What do you say
yeah,
to that?
that's I agree. I agree. Every time I see Rizzo, especially Rizzo, because I've always liked Rizzo.
Yeah, yeah,
He hit a home run yesterday.
yeah.
However, he's hitting 222. I remember that.
Well, he's the perfect Yankee player, though.
Yeah.
222, all right, but like 22 or 23 home runs.
Right, right. And a
So,
heck of a first baseman.
and
Yeah,
fantastic
yeah.
first baseman, right? So he saves a lot of runs or a lot of errors from the infielders, but he's a perfect Yankee. It wouldn't surprise me if, since we're talking about the Cubs, that Patrick Wisdom, the home run hitter for the
Yeah,
Cubs,
yeah, yeah.
he's going to wind up a Yankee because he's perfect for the Yankees. They don't need to depend on him, all the time, but he's going to get you 30 home runs, 40 home runs. The Yankee lineup is filled with guys like that. Stanton, Gallo, Judge is just out of this world, but he's an
Yeah, yeah,
all-around
yeah,
player.
yeah, yeah.
So, when we think about what's going to be the roster of the Cubs at the end of this year, I'm sure Wisdom's going to sign with somebody. They're going to get rid of him and get some talent for him.
But Frank, the other guy's going. Frank, he's going to go.
Wendell,
Yeah.
is he gone?
No, he's hurt.
Oh, he's hurt. Okay. But anyway, Contreras will be gone.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me if they're all Yankees. All those guys.
I just realized because of the Phillies, you can't fall in love with your players.
Right. So yeah, talk about the Phillies. Who are the Philly players that Amaro fell in love with like too long?
Carlos Ruiz,
Yeah.
Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard.
Yeah. See? Yeah.
And I can always say, "Oh my gosh, you can't get rid of them. Those are the guys. Those are the guys." I still remember when Brad Lynch, reliever,
Oh my
struck
God.
out the last guy, and he goes like this. Can you see me good? He knees on his knees. He goes, "We done it. We did it."
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Did he die?
No, he's around somewhere.
He's around. Okay.
Well, obviously, I don't know. I mean, I didn't get this.
All right. Okay.
It's just interesting now. What? But they had to get rid of him. You got to keep
and that's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't mind that the Cubs got rid of Rizzo, Bryant, and Baez, but what have you done since then? Where did all that money go to? I look at their lineup now and God bless them, but where are the arms? They're giving up like 42 runs a game. So
now, if you were, let me say this: if you were Baez, why would you go to Detroit?
Money. They offered him a ton of money. Yeah, that's it. It's not, players don't do that. They don't go like, I mean, maybe later in their career they do, but they got to get that big payday.
Yeah, I see sometimes like if you're getting commercials here and there in that area, like Ian Happ. I thought he was going to go last year.
Yeah.
I mean, for All-Star, he's only hit 8 home runs. He's not like 15 home runs guy. I saw that today. But if I can get endorsements here and there, I'm making up for that. But now
but I'm sure Baez has endorsements in Detroit. They're not. It's not like Detroit is.
Check that out.
I'll check it out. I'll tune in on my thing over here.
Yeah,
all right.
The back is in the back. Yeah.
Anyway, back to your point. Let's go. 2016 is a long time ago. White Sox, they got to get rid of La Russa. They got to do something, because the fans are really not La Russa positive. And if you want to save the season, you got to somehow jumpstart it. Because up and down the lineup, it's a pretty good lineup, but they're not producing, so I don't know if it's La Russa's fault.
Is it a good lineup? I don't know them that well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They got some young studs over there. But you're only young studs for a certain amount of time. And then
first baseman's good, right? First baseman's good.
Abreu, yeah. He's
who's the second baseman?
Second baseman. Oh man, why are you doing this to me? Well, let's go to shortstop. Tim Anderson's the shortstop.
He's good.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But out in the outfield, let's talk about the outfield. But they've got some injuries. but everybody has injuries, and they're pitching. Cease is really good, but how about this? If we look around the league, and you just look at their division, the White Sox should be higher in the division than they are. Not so much based on the payroll, but just based on the talent. So, I don't even know who the surprise teams are. I should probably figure that one out, who the surprise teams.
I think Toronto.
Yeah, but Toronto's got a huge payroll. Minnesota's a surprise, but anyway, it'll be, we're coming up to the All-Star break. So that's usually when they buy or sell, right? Teams.
Yeah.
Are they in it or are they out?
And it's interesting.
They won 20 games though. So,
it's always been to me, why that they have to, they sell. To me, that means you've practically given up on the season. It's just
well, yeah, they just do the math. This team ahead of these 4 teams ahead of us would have to lose 1 out of every, 8 out of 10 games, and we have to win 8 out of 10 in order to even make it close. So they.
I may ask you, what did Atlanta do?
What do you mean, after the World Series?
No, before. Yeah, they were way back.
Yeah.
So you never know. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. I just like to see the player development or the scout category. There should be more emphasis put on that in terms of criticism, because it's Ross, he's the manager, La Russa, they're the manager. They, the GM gives them the team and they, do it like that. But if you don't have the arms, man, you're going to give up. Doesn't matter how many home runs you hit. You're going to lose.
Let me tell you, I was watching the Red Sox game today, Cubs, and I was really enjoying having Rich Hill pitch. It was slow and slower, and it was still
Isn't that funny?
That's great. That's great.
Yeah,
So
I saw him going against Wilson Contreras.
Yeah.
And it was you could see Wilson Contreras going in his mind. He's going how is he doing this? How is he fooling me? Yeah. It reminds me of Jamie Moyer.
Yeah, Jamie Moyer. Yeah.
He pitched till I think he was
55, 75.
Yeah, 75 exactly. Yeah. So it's pretty. I love that because he was drafted by the Cubs 20 years ago.
Yeah. Let me wonder if I can tell you. Let me make a comment about somebody I knew. I start thinking, being 80, I start thinking about years later.
Yeah.
And we weren't friends. He didn't know. I don't think he probably knew my name because we were better. But Jim Croce, the late Jim Croce.
The late Jim Croce. Wow.
And if I might tell you a story about that,
okay.
Never forget him. First of all, we lived in we were in the same area. I was in the National Guard, so was he. We were in the same battalion, which meant when we would go to summer camp, we were there. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then he would teach. We both taught substitute in the school district there.
He was a substitute. He was a substitute teacher?
Okay.
All right.
And I'll never forget, he would play the guitar. And I'll never forget it. I would say, Jimmy, are you going to make it someday? Because I would have said that. He says, yes, I will. It's interesting how things happen.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, people that I know and that see me, I know people when they think I look like George Clooney, but I'm not.
You're not. Okay. All right.
I know myself.
Fact check, correct.
Yes. So, but people, I would go to a bar, wait in line, and they would say, seriously, that's Jim Croce, let him in.
Oh, you look like him?
Yes.
Oh,
look at it. Yeah. You see a picture of him. So, and this was in.
So wait. When you guys were around the same age, you looked very similar.
Yes.
So bushy kind of. Throw thing happened. Do you have a big mustache?
I don't think. No, I don't think so. I don't know. My hair or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if I would have said, I wouldn't have said I look like Tiny Tim or anything like. But, so I have a fond memory, and the poor guy died.
Yeah.
So did my football coach too.
Wait, for some reason I can't hear you what you just said. Say it again. Your football coach?
My football coach in college. I was just a water,
Oh, okay.
but he died, and Jim Croce. Never forget that.
Yeah. I think it was 72. So if we think about that, that's 50 years ago. Jim Croce died.
Yeah.
And I was just a kid, and um if you, I remember my brother was really into him, and he had all the albums. That's quite a legacy, though, to die 50 years ago and then still have contemporary hits
Yes.
that are so well known. I mean,
Yeah. Some people, some people were searching for how it was years ago, like bring it back, to bring things back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I neglected to say it. We talked about the Cubs, talked about Colorado. I like to say this is something to me. There was a study done, brain, CTE, degenerative brain disease,
Oh.
close to the head.
Oh.
It's in the brains of more than 300 former NFL players. This is so sad to me.
And 300 have been diagnosed.
Yes, 300.
Yeah.
Where are we? Where are we? In hockey, soccer, baseball. You know what bothers me about baseball? That catch. How many things are the bat or the ball, like that, and they just go like,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You play 10 seasons as a catcher, checking it off. It's going to come.
Right. And that's like football is the direct hits. Hockey is probably more the jostling. It's constantly taking hits to the body where your head's going like this. I don't think it's the head-to-head hit like it is in football, but that kind of just shows us that even this, just the jostling of the brain inside your skull is going to lead to long-term, damage.
Yeah.
So that, I guess youth football, let me ask you, if you had a son or daughter for that matter, I guess, growing up now, would you let them play?
No.
No. Neither would I.
I love the game, but I love the game. Yet, with many people, nothing ever bothered them. Right? They've always been all right. But no, I would be frightened.
Yeah.
You want to see somebody? Well, I don't. Can we mention names here? Can we mention? I don't want to like I was told, like I read where Jim McMahon is like.
Right. He's one that I was thinking of when you brought this up.
I don't know if we can do that. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, he's got he's having a tough time. I haven't heard like recently, but and then you say tough time. That's such a sort of like.
Remember Mike Webster?
Mike Webster, yeah, ended up living in his car, right?
Living in his car. Pro center.
Yeah, that's the lineman that kind of worries me, is because that's play after play after play.
Yeah.
And if you're in the, linemen tend to hang around for a while. They're in the league for longer than the running back is, or the average quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty scary. Now I know there's been advancements with their protection with the helmets and things. So, and I know you kind of hate to put it in these terms, but I wonder if, 20 years from now, the players that are playing right now, will they have the same high numbers of this degenerative brain disease thing that the players 30 years ago are going through? Maybe because of the improvements they're not going to. If I was a parent, I wouldn't risk it. So
I think it's interesting. I think of this sometimes.
I'm a parent. I guess what I meant,
players, NFL players, let's say more NFL players, were really. I'm thinking of Mike Ditka now. We're thinking he was always one. I wonder how he is now.
Oh, I think he's a stumbling, bumbling, mumbling guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can. Do you remember? There's a famous clip when he was. I think it was ESPN was his last gig, as in the studio, right? ESPN.
Yeah.
There's a pretty famous clip. You can probably search it on YouTube where he dozed off during one of the panel discussions, and one of the other guys had to go, Mike, and then he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
although with him, he could have been drunk. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, just such a, we're like here he was like Ron Jaworski. I remember him.
Yeah.
The offer, like, is he? It's just interesting.
Yeah.
I like to. I like to make another comment. This concerns me. Center for the Center of Disease Control, Mark.
CDC.
CDC. More children ages 1 to 4 die from drowning than any other cause except birth defect. Drowning. How does that happen? Drowning. They're in the pool unsupervised.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that a majority. So if it's 1 out of 4. Wait, say it again. What did you just say? What was the stat? 1 out of 4? Oh, so no, ages 1 to 4.
Die from drowning than any other cause of death.
That's the number one cause of death, ages 1 to 4. Well, so that tells you right there, it's being unsupervised around water, because the kid 1 to 4 is not capable of going like, I think I'm going to go swimming now. The kid 1 to 4 just goes, oh, there's some water, I'm going to go in there.
Yeah.
It's not like, they're unsupervised. So
would you say that would be in the bathroom too?
Could be. Yeah, right. Yeah, I was thinking of pools just because you said that, but it could be in the bathtub. Yeah, where you just
the mother or the father leave the water, and then they go to get something.
Right.
2 minutes becomes 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So in awareness of children around pools, how about this? Let's say you've got 4 kids. Right. By the fourth kid, and you've got a pool in the backyard. By the 4th kid, you're like, everybody's been fine. And maybe you sort of like become a little bit more lax when it comes to the attention you're supposed to give.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just so sad. These things bother me.
Yeah, that's a sad one. That's sad. I know that what another sad one is this time of year. Like, I bet you, because we're the 4th of July weekend, I bet you this weekend you're going to hear of a couple drownings, and all the recreational stuff, all the water skiing and everything that everybody does at the lakes around their community. There's always a couple drownings over the 4th of July, usually due to alcohol, where you're a little bit too buzzed and you're water skiing or something, and then you just, go down. But this weekend there's going to be some. Also, with if we think of oceans and then like the Great Lakes, inclement weather really does some crazy stuff with those. What do you call it? Not riptides. Yeah, but not riptides. What's the riptides is in the ocean. I don't know what it is in a lake. Undercurrent or I don't know what it's called, but this weekend I'm sure. Yeah.
It's just interesting to see. I read that. I thought people listening to this would be something to be concerned about, to be more vigilant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our grandchild, niece or nephew.
Right. And then the other thing is, teach them how to swim as early as you can. Young kids can figure it out if you get them in lessons early on.
I've seen that. I've said when the kids are like 6 months and
right.
It's great.
Yeah.
I never learned how to swim, tell you.
Yeah, get them to learn how to swim. Now that's not going to help in a lake situation, but in a pool situation, that's going to help. Because there's always those things of you'll see like somebody taught a little kid, like really young, almost a toddler, how to snow ski. And it's like, that fearless sort of thing at that age. And then they just kind of go with it and figure it out. Same with swimming. Teach them how to swim when they're young. And then I'd imagine the danger kind of subsides a little bit if they're left alone, because they can fend for themselves there. I thought your screen froze the way you were.
No, I'm looking at the remaining time.
Oh, yeah, we've got a few minutes here. So, what's next on the agenda?
Next, I'd like to just. This is not. I want to say it's sad. I don't want to say it's sad because it's talking about side is not side, newspaper business. I love newspapers. And over 2,500 newspapers in the last 25 years. The last 20 closed since 2005. We'll lose 1/3 by 2000, another third by 2025. We're not reading the newspapers ever. I
Yeah,
love the newspaper. It's your password to the world.
yeah. But the password to the world is really what we're on right now, is the
Yes.
internet.
That's
So
right.
that's really,
Ooh, boy, was that you stay at home and think of different things,
oh, I Googled that one. I Googled that one.
boy.
But
Whoa.
what
You
I'm
wanna say it
saying
again
is,
for everybody? Say it again for everybody.
well, how about this? No, I'm going to change it around. You're nostalgic for newspapers. You like
Right.
the idea of having it in your hand. Maybe a Sunday morning, you got the big thick one and you're going through all the stuff. Or, the sports page, each
Right,
morning.
right.
There was a time when there was a town crier, right? There was a town crier, get out on the corner and yell, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Then newspapers came along and then there was no more town criers. All right. Did anybody go like, I miss the town criers? I really miss the
No.
town crier.
You're right.
No, because they had the newspapers. I think that your generation, with all due respect, is going to miss the newspapers, but generations like younger than me, they're not going to miss the newspapers because they've got this thing.
Yeah.
I can, if I wanted to check the box score on a game, I can pull it up right now. And I don't have to wait till tomorrow morning to see what happened in the game in
Yeah.
New
Like,
York.
do you see? I have a newspaper. You see that an article more in depth. Am I wrong? In
No,
depth.
you can go in depth.
Is it more bullet points or?
What, the internet?
I mean, the reading the newspaper on the internet.
It's the same thing. You just
Yeah.
have to, I mean, a lot of them have firewalls where you'll see the main blurb and then you click to open it up and it's like, okay, you want to subscribe? Come on.
Yeah.
So there's that. That's how they're making their money now. But that's what everybody's doing. So I know newspapers are, magazines too. Magazines will go away. There was I remember as a kid waiting for the Sports Illustrated every Thursday is when I would get it.
Reader's Digest. I just thought of that. Right. Reader's Digest.
Yeah. I mean, it's all there. It's all
Yeah.
still there. It's just on a different medium right now.
U.S.
So,
News and World Report. We used to read that, or Time Magazine, Newsweek.
right,
All gone.
right.
Well,
Time's
no,
still
I
around.
still like the paper because I have it. I read it, and it's like it's my relaxation.
Yeah, but you don't have a laptop.
Yeah.
If you had a laptop, you'd think differently. Because that would be your newspaper. You'd
Yeah.
have it in your hand, or a tablet. I should say tablet. You'd think differently. My wife is, she's up on everything. She's not folding newspaper like this. She's just going like this through stuff. So I get it. I certainly get it. And maybe 5 years ago, I would have said, yeah, that's kind of sad. But now it's like, it's just inevitable. It's just the way it's going.
I'd like to see what a city newspaper is doing and what a country newspaper is doing. I would read all different kinds of opinions. I like that.
Yeah. Well, okay. There I agree with you. The local news reporter about your local news, about what's happening in your community, like 10
Yeah.
miles around your house,
Yeah.
that's gone. That's gone because people just don't support or participate in the local news end of it like they used to. So there, I think that's sad. That's sad that, and I'm guilty as anybody. I used to, know exactly what was going on in my community and everything like that. And now, I don't as much. I mean, I know a little, but things will surprise me, I'll be driving down the street and I'll see, there's a new restaurant, and I'll go like, oh, I didn't know about that. Prior, 20 years ago, it would have been, hey, coming next week, this restaurant's opening. So
let me mention something. I think this is shameful. country. The surge in violence with retail workers
Yeah.
has resulted in a union in Colorado that negotiated a contract that ensures workers have the right to defend themselves if a customer attacks them. Would that be doing in other industries? Right, restaurants,
Well, immediately I think of airline
airlines,
staff, flight attendants, pilots,
right, right,
counter people, the people at the terminal. At the
right,
counter
right.
Airline.
This what happened this weekend,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been terrible. And I have whenever I witness something in a retail situation, I get so sad because how did this happen where now I'm going to take out my frustration on everything that's going wrong on my life on that person?
Yeah.
Where did that start? I think I know the answer. And I'm gonna say it. And I think it's with the advent of Trumpism that we just have kind of forgotten manners and just general being polite. I mean, we forget, but just a few years ago, he would stand at it when he was running. He would stand, he could knock the bleep out of them. If somebody does something, kick them up, I'll pay your legal fees. That was the first time that on a national scale, people were saying, it's all right, beat them up. That's never happened before in our life.
No.
Where I'm talking about from, the beginning of the country to now, there's never been somebody saying, you don't like it, beat them up. It's really dangerous out there in terms of if you have differing opinions, people resort to violence really quick instead of just discussing it or ignoring. There's nothing wrong with ignoring. What that person is doing that's ticking me off so much really doesn't affect me, but I'm going to let it affect me by just getting all sorts of upset about it. You mentioned retail specifically. That breaks my heart when I see people who are working so hard have to deal with that. And when people wonder about why people are always have the hiring sign outside, it's because why would I go work there and be treated so bad by the public? So
You say that. I was somewhere a couple of days ago.
hey, you know what? Before you say where you were a couple of days ago, we've got to wrap this one up. Let's say goodbye. And then when we come back the next time, we'll finish the thought on this because it's really interesting. And then we'll do the New York Times quiz. Okay.
Okay, that's good.
All
Good
right.
plan.
So I'll talk to you the next time and we'll finish talking about that terrible situation. But then we'll be upbeat with our knowledge with the New York Times quiz. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
I'll see you later.
Have a fourth gang.